This is Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. You're watching a video series on how to purchase a new PC. We're going to talk about purchasing a Windows PC, purchasing a Chromebook, and purchasing an Apple computer. There will be 3 videos coming out over the next 2 months to help you get the best value of purchasing a computer. This is part 2 of purchasing a new Windows PC. Please watch part 1 before this, as there's some information you'll need to know. I'll put the link above. Now, before we get started, I wanted to talk to you about another thought I had on monitors. I want you to look at my office and you'll see 3 monitors on my desk, correct? Well, there's actually 4, and we're going to talk a little bit about that in a minute. What you need to know is with a Windows PC, you can have 2 monitors. Yes, it's very easy to connect 2 monitors. And if you look to the right side of my room, you'll see a Dell computer, and you'll see that I have 2 monitors connected. And these are actually connected directly onto a video card, but there are many ways and you could connect these 2 monitors to a PC. Now on the left, you're going to see a 3rd screen. No, actually, if you look closer, you're going to see 2 screens, because you'll see that one of those screens is plugged into my laptop, and you'll see a smaller screen just below it. And that is, of course, the laptop screen. And you're going to say, but Ron, I don't want that little screen. I want to run my laptop with 2 big screens like you have. Well, I'm sorry you can't do that, because on your laptop you have a small screen which has to be considered the primary one, and I've added 1 more, and that's your 2, and that's all you get with your laptop. Well, not quite. There is another way to add more screens, but you need what we call a docking station. And I'll show you that because I have a docking station here made by a company called Pluggable. But this adds more cost and complexity to your budget of what we said was between $600 and $1,000. So in your purchase consideration, you need to think about that. If your real goal is you want 2 large monitors, and I couldn't live without 2 large monitors, then you better consider a PC rather than a laptop. All right, the goal that we've set is that your new PC should be somewhere between $600 and $1,000. So what we're going to do in this video is try and get you the best value for your money. So the first question you're going to ask is, should I buy a computer with Windows 10 or Windows 11? So here's the problem. Windows support is going to end for Windows 10 on October 14th, 2025. That is 2 more years from now. That's a long time, but remember, we've budgeted this new computer for a 5-year period. So what are you going to do in another 2 years when your newly purchased PC has to be upgraded to Windows 11? Well, many laptops and PCs cannot be upgraded from Windows 10 to 11. It actually depends on some hardware that you'll be required and the parameters on your new PC. So that's the first issue, is you should only buy a Windows 11 PC. And my advice is, don't trust whoever is selling to you if they say it's upgradable. I would only buy a Windows 11 PC that is pre-installed on your purchase. We're going to see a lot of problems over the next couple of years as the number of these older computers that can't be upgraded increases and won't get security updates after October 14th, 2025. So these are going to be refurbished machines. They're going to be on sale. There's going to be all sorts of people trying to get rid of them and trying to sell these machines. And that is a bad decision, because remember, our budget is for a 5-year machine, and these will not be 5-year machines. So only purchase your new machine with Windows 11 pre-installed. So what Windows PC should you buy? Well, let me tell you this. If you go to Best Buy today and you purchase any Windows 10 or 11 machine. Open the box, it will run just fine. You'll be happy with it. The engineers that have designed it have done a good job. So what tips can I give you to help you to get the best value of the money that you're going to spend, and how can I help you make the right choice? The first thing that you have to understand is how computers are made. And in the diagram ahead, you'll see that we have a motherboard. Most of you know what a motherboard is the backbone of a computer. And on top of that motherboard, we put video cards, memory modules, etc. And that's how we build a computer. If you look at these motherboards, you'll see that they're fairly thick, they're very firm, don't move very much, and have a bunch of things plugged into the top of them. And that is how we build computers. Well, many years ago, they were able to figure out that you can actually put generic parts on these boards and you can make them very quickly like a waffle. You know how you pour that liquid in the waffle machine and you put the top down and it bakes your waffle for you? Well, we can do the same thing with motherboards. We can bake them and make them all as an integrated circuit, and we can stamp these out, thousands of them every minute, and they cost between 50 and 75 cents. And these are wafer thin motherboards that you can put into computers, and that's how you make a $300 computer. The problem with these boards is they don't do heat very well, and they often crack with mobility. You'll frequently find these stamped motherboards in very cheap computers under $500. That's why I've set our budget between $600 and $1,000, because you want to stay away from these cheap stamped motherboards. You'll also find these in Black Friday sales. So be very wary of computers that are made specifically for Black Friday sales, as these often have cheaper motherboards that are very prone to failure. Let's talk about hard drives for your new computer. Folks, in 2023, the only computer hard drive you should be buying is a solid-state drive. The cheaply made spinning drives that are prone to failure are a thing of the past. Solid-state drives are more reliable and much faster. Now, in the budget that I've given you, you may not be able to purchase a machine that has a 1 terabyte solid-state drive. Maybe that's out of our budget. So you have to accept a 250 or 500 gigabyte solid-state drive. Well, that's fine, because most of the things we do now are online. The physical requirements for storage is less. And also, we can add solid-state drives as external devices. These are so cheap now, it's not even worth thinking about. The other thing I'd like you to stay away completely from is hybrid drives. You will still see some computer manufacturers using what we call hybrid drives, which are a combination of a spinning drive and a solid-state drive. They have a small solid-state drive that powers the machine up because they're faster, so it can load Windows and all your apps and programs quickly, and then switches over to a spinning drive for the larger storage. This is a very bad idea and was started a long time ago when solid-state drives were very expensive. Because now they're cheap, that technology is prone to a lot of problems, and I would stay away from that completely. Let's talk about how much RAM you need for your Windows 11 computer. If you are a graphics designer, you know the specifications you need. If you are a gamer, you'll know that you need specific type of equipment for your PC. We're talking about the average user who wants to check email, do some banking, watch Netflix, and that sort of thing on their PC. For those people, 16 gigabytes is adequate. On the very cheap machines, you'll see 8 gigabits of RAM. That's not adequate because Windows requires about 8 gigabytes to run, so it's going to be pretty difficult running Windows on 8 gigabytes. What you'll find is that it will be caching a lot of memory to the hard drive, and that's going to slow your machine down. So 8 gigabytes of RAM is not great. You should be fine with 16. For those of you who have a lot of tasks you do, maybe you do more complex jobs, then 32 gigabytes is where you want to be. For those of you who are real power users, you're going to say, what about 64 gigabits of RAM? Well, RAM is not cheap, and to add another 32 gigabits of RAM, it's often another $500. Is it worth it? That brings us into our next option. If you haven't purchased a PC for the last 4 or 5 years, you may not be aware of significant changes that have occurred, particularly in graphics card. A company by the name of NVIDIA has now taken the world by a storm. They've been around a long time, but over the past 5 years have really catapulted ahead and are the leading player in graphics cards. So much so is that they are a dominant force in the manufacture of new PCs. Now, they make a wide variety of video cards, some less expensive, some very expensive. What Windows does now is they offset some of its workload to the graphics card, and this can significantly increase the speed of your computer. If you are choosing a computer, I would encourage you to look and see if you can put an NVIDIA card into your budget. This may or may not be possible within our $600 to $1,000 computer, but I would like you to look at that because I think it is an excellent choice. It's also your money is much better spent rather than adding that extra 32 gigs of RAM and spending an extra $500. Put that into a more advanced NVIDIA card, and you'll be much happier with the money spent and may even fit it in your budget. I reviewed Dell's computers recently, and most of their computers come with an option for an NVIDIA card. I have one in this PC, and I would encourage you to consider that in your budgeting. Now, the last advice I'm going to give you is on extended warranties. Should you buy an extended warranty on your new machine? Well, I guess that decision sort of goes along with buying an extended warranty on an automobile and whether it's a good or bad decision. Here's some thoughts for you that might help you make that decision. The first thing is that most computers, probably 99%, work just fine. They're either dead in the box and won't run, or if they do run, they'll run fine for your budget of 5 years. Very unlikely you're going to have any technical problems with them. But if you do, is it worth the extended warranty on a machine we've budgeted for $600 to $1,000? The first thing that you need to understand is that nobody fixes these machines. It is most likely you're going to have to send the machine away. You're going to send it to a third party to have it so-called fixed. This may take a week, it may take a number of weeks, or in some cases, if it is an odd machine, it may take a lot longer. When you get it back, it most likely will not be your machine. What they've done is they've found another refurbished machine and may have transferred your data over or may not. You may have to reinstall all the data on a refurbished machine. Now let's say you have the machine for 3 years and at the end of 3 years you have some problems and you only have 2 years left of our budget. Well, is that really worth it to have that machine away for a longer period of time and to get a refurbished one back? I don't think, for me, it wouldn't work. So you have to consider all that in purchasing an extended warranty. And remember, the extended warranty is on hardware, not software. So they're not going to reload all your software back onto that machine. For those reasons, I don't personally think extended warranties are very good value. What I do think is helpful is some services offered like the Geek Squad at Best Buy, where if you purchase a new computer from them, they, for a fee of course, will transfer all the data off your old computer, decommission it, get rid of it, and set your new computer up. I think this is a very valuable service for people who actually don't do this all the time and don't know how to do it. I think this is a good way of setting everything up for you, and you might want to consider that. This is Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. Hopefully you've enjoyed part 1 and part 2 of purchase considerations for a new Windows PC. I will be having 2 more videos come out on purchase consideration of a Chromebook and purchase consideration of an Apple computer in the next couple of months. Be sure and like and subscribe, and we'll notify you when a new video comes out.
Some simple, secret Windows shortcuts you probably don't know. Hello. I am filling in for Hewie Poplock. He has a bad cold with a heavy cough and a hoarse voice. These tips run on Windows 10 and 11. Copy text from a Windows dialog window. Running up against an error message in Windows? No need to painstakingly transcribe the error code. Instead, when the pop-up is the active window, hit Ctrl+C on your keyboard, then paste the text into a document. The whole message is copied, so you can extract whatever parts of it you want from the text dump. 2. Switch to the correct app window fast. If you have more than one window open for an app, you can hover your mouse over the program's icon in your taskbar, then choose the correct window, provided you can make out which one it is from the tiny preview. An alternative that's just as fast? Hold Ctrl and then click on the app's icon. You'll cycle through all its open windows. I now use this exclusively when flipping between 2 open windows. It's as efficient as Alt+Tab, but app-specific. 3. Open a new instance of an app. Turns out if you hold Shift while clicking with your mouse on a taskbar icon, it opens a new instance of that app. That is, running the program a second time or more. It's slightly different than opening a new window. For example, a second instance of Chrome lets you load a different profile while the first one is logged in. Or having 2 text files open at the same time in Notepad. You can middle-click on your mouse to execute this same command. 2. That's probably your scroll wheel if you have a modern mouse. 4. Make Windows UWP apps full screen. While pressing Win plus the up arrow key will maximize any window, it doesn't make the application full screen. For apps you install through the Microsoft Store app, aka Windows UWP apps, you can make them full screen by tapping 3 keys. Win plus Shift plus Enter. 5. Run apps with elevated permissions. You shouldn't ever need to run Edge with elevated permissions, but you can. By default, apps don't run with admin permissions, a security measure that restricts how a program can behave within Windows. For example, a password manager can't access 2-factor authentication or 2FA hardware keys, like a YubiKey, plugged into a PC when opened normally. To quickly launch software with elevated permissions, just hold Ctrl+Shift while double-clicking the app to open it. No need to right-click on the program's icon or shortcut and then choose to run as admin. 6. Open a new window for an app. Every app on your taskbar has a number assigned to its position, at least, for the first 10. You might already know this and make use of the keyboard shortcut that lets you open apps, or jump to them, if already open, pinned to your taskbar. The Windows key plus a number from 0 through 9. But did you know if you hold Win plus Shift and then the number you want, a new window for that app will open? This one isn't universal. The software has to support this shortcut, but for those that do, it's a fantastic time saver. 7. Quick access to emoji and ℎ𝕝𝕝. Want to insert an emoji, or more importantly, a ℎ𝕝𝕝, into whatever you're typing? Skip the online search and instead press Win plus semicolon or Win plus period on your keyboard. It brings up Windows on-screen emoji keyboard, which includes a ℎ𝕝𝕝 keyboard and special characters keyboard, too. Windows 11 also gets a GIF keyboard and direct access to the clipboard. 8. Fix a black screen. Did your screen suddenly go blank, even though your PC was behaving normally beforehand and still continues to run? You don't need to hard reboot immediately. Instead, first try pressing Win plus Control plus Shift plus B on your keyboard. Windows will know you've encountered a black screen and will try to fix it for you. 9. Access your command prompt history. Turns out the command prompt, aka CMD, keeps a history, and you can call it up to see what commands you ran, and rerun them from that menu. All you do is tap F7 on your keyboard. 10. Open file properties instantly. You could right-click on a file to access its properties, but why go through all that trouble? Instead, hold down Alt while double-clicking on it. It's lightning fast. 11. Reboot straight to Windows troubleshooting menu. Sometimes your PC acts up, and you need to use Windows heavy-hitting troubleshoot options like Safe Mode, Startup Repair, and System Recovery. You can access them during boot by pressing F8 during startup, or more simply, holding Shift before choosing to restart your PC from the Windows Power menu. 12. Reorder items in a list. Okay, this one is a bit of a cheat. It's a Microsoft Word shortcut, though Google Docs also supports it. To reorder items in a bulleted or numerical list, just highlight it, then hold Shift plus Alt while using the up or down arrow key. Bonus: 7 additional helpful Windows shortcuts. As mentioned, a whole slew of Windows shortcuts exist. You'll see some of the keyboard variety get mentioned often in best Windows keyboard shortcut roundups, but lots of people still don't use them daily. Win plus Shift plus S opens the Windows snipping tool for easy screenshots. Win plus I opens the Settings app. Win plus X opens the Quick Link menu, same as right-clicking on Start button. Win plus E opens a File Explorer window. Win plus Home minimizes all windows but the active one. Win plus Tab shows all open windows per monitor. Win plus H opens the Windows dictation menu. Hungry for yet more Windows keyboard shortcuts? You can make your own. Just install PowerToys, a set of advanced utilities you can use to supercharge Windows. It includes a module called Keyboard Manager that lets you remap keys and create custom shortcuts. Thanks to ℸ𝕝𝕼, Senior Editor, PC World Magazine. For Hewie Poplock, thanks for watching.
Satellite internet for the recreational vehicle. Yes, you can have it all while being on the road again. The number of satellites for the internet connectivity continues to grow. At the beginning of this year, SpaceX had over 3,500 satellites in operation. Their Phase 1 constellation consists of 4,396 satellites, followed by an additional 7,518 in Phase 2. And the next generation is proposing an additional 30,000 satellites. Additionally, other major players, to include OneWeb, Telesat, Boeing, and Amazon, are also developing internet networks with thousands more satellites. The race to space for broadband networks is today's gold rush, an executive said, and it's one that is being watched closely. Now we're going to talk about portable satellite for RV use. A long-term goal for SpaceX's Starlink system with their low Earth orbit satellite constellation is the ability to deliver broadband satellite internet to the most remote parts of the Earth. This now also includes the remote locations where some RVers like to travel to. And for proof, Starlink now provides a portable version for RV use. Now here's what you get for internet on the road. Starlink Roam, formerly Starlink for RVs, is offered for $150 a month. It's a pay-as-you-go service that can be paused and resumed as it is a monthly charge. Starlink Roam costs about $30 more per month than the residential versions, since there is more involved with delivering internet services to subscribers on the go. Now the satellite dish. There's a hardware purchase cost for the satellite dish. The standard hardware is $599, which is meant to be used while your vehicle is parked, which means you'll have to unpack and pack it up in between uses. Now, the in-motion hardware carries a hefty $2,500 price tag and is permanently installed on your vehicle's roof to provide connectivity while on the go. Currently, this is available only in select markets. Now, the speed and connectivity depends on where you are. Starlink Roam provides a download speed range of 5 to 50 megabytes per second. The variance depends on where you are on the Starlink coverage map, which shows areas marked as high capacity, low capacity, or no coverage, and is based on overall demand on the network. Most of the Western US, Canada, and Mexico have high capacity coverage, while the West Coast states of Washington, Oregon, and California, as well as Florida, and most of the Midwest are low capacity. In other words, half the country is low capacity. Let's remember Starlink is still under active development and has a ways to go before it is fully deployed, so there is full coverage and capacity everywhere. The standard Starlink uses 50 to 75 watts of power, while the flat high-performance unit uses 110 to 150 watts. Now, there's a new Gen 3 router available, but this is by invite only. In August 2023, Starlink released the new Gen 3 router by invite only. Key points include the Gen 3 router is compatible with all current models, including the original round dish and existing mesh mode nodes. It features Wi-Fi 6, a tri-band radio, 2 LAN Ethernet ports, WPA2 security, and support for up to 235 devices. The cost for the new router is $199 for those that have received the email invites. Starlink Roam now includes boats. I'm guessing the name change from Starlink for RVs to Starlink Roam is because this service now includes connectivity for boats. There's a 10 mile per hour speed limit for motion when using mobile data usage. Faster speeds require the metered mobile priority data plan. It is clear what Starlink considers motion at times can be unclear. For example, does Starlink expect RVs to travel down the highway at 10 miles per hour? The times they are a-changin'. Much of the information I provided can be found on the website rvmobileinternet.com. There was a time when using your recreational vehicle was to get away from it all, but it appears some of us want to have our cake and eat it too. For the record, I'll not be looking to purchase this equipment as I'm selling my 24-year-old Class C motorhome. I've owned travel trailers and motorhomes for more than 40 years, but now it's time for me to just check into a motel for the night when traveling. Thanks for your attention. The end.